And I welcome you all to this video. So today in this video, we are going to discuss about window functions. So in this video particularly, we will discuss about first value window function, and in the next video, we will discuss about last value window function. So I will be requiring a new database for that. So I will first of all create a new database. I will write create database and then the name of the database. So we can write, we can probably name it as window functions. Window functions, maybe we can write in the short form, and this is the database that will be created. I'll select it and execute this code. After that, since we will have to select this window function database, so we may write use inside the bracket, window, or might be we can copy it from here itself. So I'll copy it and I'll paste it here. Let's execute the code written in line 5. And this database is now selected. We will now, let's say, since we have to create the table, so I have a piece of code ready in Notepad. I will be providing this query in the description, in the resource section, so you can copy it from there and you can create the table so that you'll be able to follow along with me. So let's copy it and let's paste it here in SQL Server, and let's execute this piece of code so that it will create a table for us which will be named employee salaries, and then we will be using this table for analysis. So let's simply click on execute. 9 rows impacted, so the new table was created. Now let's simply click on new query and it will open a new query window for us. As of now, you can see that window function database is selected at the top, you can see. And now I will run a simple select statement on employee salaries table to see the data contained in that table. So we will simply write select star from employee salaries, select it from here and control E. So this is the data that we have. Now, let's say, so we have various columns. We have employee ID, then we have the name of the employee, then we have the salary of the employee, and after that, we have the department in which the employee works. So the point is that now we are interested in adding one more column to this data set, to this output, that will show us, let's say, the minimum salary available in the data set. So we may achieve that by using the function called first value function, and it's a window function. So let's see how it can be used. So we may write, first of all, let's write select star from employee salaries, so that IntelliSense will show us the names of the columns, right? Else we'll have to type each one of them. Now let's go back to this star, press enter once again, come to line number 5, comma, and now start writing the window function. So we will write first value, bracket open, bracket close. Now in the new column that is going to be added, we want salary to be represented, right? So salary is a column, salary column is a column present in this table. So we may write salary, spelling. Yes, the moment you will type some characters, IntelliSense will show you that this is the column that you can choose from. So in the new column, we want salary to be represented. Although minimum value is to be represented of salary, but salary is to be represented. So we will have to mention the name of that column inside first value in the parenthesis. This is done. Now let's talk about the over clause. It is mandatory to provide order by clause in the over clause. So we can write order by, and since we want the minimum salary to be provided, so the dataset has to be sorted in the ascending order of salary column. So you will have to write salary ascending. So you may either write salary ASC or you may simply write salary, right? Because we have already discussed that if you are interested in sorting the result in the ascending order, so mentioning ASC keyword for ascending is not mandatory, but if you want to sort in the descending order, then you will have to write DESC. So we will discuss about that case as well. And then we will be providing an alias name to this new column that is going to be created. And I will name it as minimum salary. All right. So if we will now execute this piece of code written from line 4 to line 6, this is going to give us the minimum salary value available in the data set, right? So that's how the first value window function works, right? So it just check for the minimum value of salary in the data set, and in the new column, the minimum value is populated everywhere. Now let's say we do not want the minimum salary to be populated in the new column that is created, but instead we want employee name, the name of the employee who is having this minimum salary. We want the name of that employee to be populated. So what we will do, we will simply copy this piece of code that we have written, Control C, and we will come to the new line, that is line 8. I'll paste it here. And since in the new column, we want the name of the employee with the minimum salary, so instead of mentioning the salary column inside the first value function, we will mention the name, employee name column, right? So I will write the name of employee name column, or that employee name column. We will select it. And if you will now try to execute the piece of code written from line 8 to 10, this is going to generate a new column for you that tells you about the name of the employee who is having the minimum salary. That's the thing. And might be if you are interested in adding, let's say, 2 columns, where in the first column you want to represent the name of the employee with a minimum salary, and the next column you want the minimum salary to be shown. So you can do that as well. First of all, let's change the name of this column, right? This is employee with minimum salary. So maybe we can write employee, maybe EMP in short form, we may write employee with minimum salary. If I will execute this code now, so the name of the column is changed. So let's say we want to add one more column, and in that column we want minimum salary to be represented along with the employee with the minimum salary. So I will simply copy this piece of code that we wrote in line 5, and I will come to line number 10 and I will paste it here. And let's execute the piece of code now written from line 8 to 11, and let's see what's the output. So in one column, you can see the name of the employee with minimum salary is written, while in the other column, the name of the employee, the minimum salary value is written, while in one column, the name of the employee with minimum salary is written. So that's how first value function can be used. Now let's take an example to understand that how first value function can be used along with the partition by clause. As of now, in these examples, we have not used the partition by clause. So I will simply press enter, come to line 13 and 14 maybe. And now let's write the code. So we may write select star. Again, first of all, we'll write select star from employee salaries just before the star, from keyword, press enter again, comma. Now we will write first value. And since in the new column, let's say we this time want employee IDs to be shown, so we may write employee ID. And now in the inside the over clause, we will have to mention the partition by clause. And in the partition by clause, let's say we want the window to be created for each department, and how the output looks, we will discuss about that. But we want a window to be created for each department. It means that for each department, let's say we want the name of the, employee ID of the employee to be displayed who is having minimum salary. But we want that name to be represented for each department. So a window will have to be created for each department. That's why we will mention department in partition by clause. And how the output and the result looks, we will compare that in a while. So over partition by, we will have to mention the department column. And then we may say order by salary, let's say ascending. So since ascending, so no need to mention ASC. And now let's give this column a name. So let's name it as, first value only. First value. If I will now execute the code written from line 14 to 16, so you can see that for each department, so in finance, we have employee ID 6 who is having the lowest salary. That's why you can see employee ID 6 is written for finance department in the first value column. Again, if I'll talk about the HR department, so the value is 1. So ID number 1, that is LS, is having the lowest salary in HR department. That's why first value column consists of value 1 for all the records for HR department. Similarly, it's the case with IT department. ID number 9, that is Ivan, is having the minimum salary. So Ivan's employee ID is written in first value column for entire IT department. So that's how we may use partition by clause. Similarly, let's say we want the data set to be partitioned by the department itself, but this time we want that the result should be, the data should be sorted in the descending order of the salary. So what we will do, we will simply copy this piece of code, and might be we can come to line 18, and in place of, after the salary column, we can simply mention the keyword descending, that is DESC, we can mention. And now if we will try to execute this piece of code, so you can see that in finance, since Eve is having the highest salary, so employee ID 5 is written in the first value column. Same is the case with HR department, employee ID 2 is having the highest salary, and in IT, employee ID 8 is having the highest salary. Now let's say I not only want to represent the employee ID in the first value column. First value column has been created for employee IDs, but I want to add one more column wherein the names of the employee will also be shown. So we will simply copy this piece of code written in line 19, and then we will paste it in line 20. And here, since we want employee names also to be represented, so in place of employee ID, we will mention employee name. And now if I will try to execute this piece of code, so you can see that let's say maybe we can change the name. So here we can write first value EID, and here we may write E-name. And now if I'll execute this code written from line 18 to 21, this is going to give us the new column, which is created based on using the window function first value and is having the names of the employees. So I hope this video was helpful, and we'll be in the next session. We'll discuss about the last value function. Till then, thank you. Bye-bye.